Story: The Dragon and the Lantern of Hope. Once upon a tale, there was a green dragon living high in the mountains. Its scales shimmered like jewels, yet the villagers below feared it deeply, believing the dragon would bring harm. Thus, the dragon lived in solitude, gazing at people from afar with loneliness. One stormy night, a little girl named Mecca climbed the mountain holding a small lantern. The wind blew fiercely, snuffing out its flame. She cried, for that lantern was the last gift from her late mother. The dragon, watching silently, felt pity. With a gentle, fiery breath, it lit the lantern again. Mecca was startled, but did not run away. Instead, she smiled and thanked the dragon. From then on, she visited every night, sharing stories about her village, its laughter, and its people. The dragon began to know warmth it had never felt before. Soon, villagers noticed the glowing lantern atop the mountain. Curious, they went up and discovered the dragon was not dangerous at all, but rather a guardian to the little girl they cherished. Their fear faded, and they invited the dragon to live closer to their community. From that day on, the Lantern of Hope became a symbol of friendship. Whenever hardship arose, the villagers lit a lantern on the mountain, reminding everyone that hope and understanding could turn fear into lasting bonds. Moral of the story: courage to open one's heart and share hope can transform fear into a powerful friendship. Story: The Water Dragon and the Crystal of the Lake. Once upon a tale, a blue water dragon lived deep within a shimmering lake. Its tiny golden wings could hardly fly, but it carried a magical crystal that glowed like morning dew. The dragon could command the waters with its power. The villagers nearby feared it, believing the dragon might dry up the river or cause great waves to destroy their homes. They forbade their children from approaching the lake. Yet a boy named Din secretly visited the shore each day, fascinated by the crystal-clear water. One day, he unexpectedly met the dragon. Instead of fleeing, Din greeted it and offered some fruit. The dragon smiled and used its crystal to create sparkling rainbow droplets. The boy laughed with delight. From then on, they became friends, sharing stories of the lake and the village. When a drought came and the river nearly dried, the dragon used its crystal to call forth gentle rain. The villagers finally realized the dragon was not a threat, but a guardian of the waters. In gratitude, they held a festival by the lake, releasing lanterns that floated on the water, vowing to protect the lake together with the dragon forevermore. Moral of the story: do not let fear alone guide judgment. Sometimes, an open heart reveals a true friend and guardian. Story: The Little Dragon and the Adventurous Raccoon. Once upon a tale, there was a small red dragon named Fiju who dreamed of seeing the wide world. But he couldn't yet fly far. One day he met a playful raccoon named Riceball, clever at finding shortcuts. Together, they built a small wooden raft to sail the seas in search of the legendary Northern Light Island, where a glowing stone was said to reveal one's true desire. Their journey was not easy. They faced wild waves, angry seabirds, and glowing jellyfish that tried to sink their raft. Fiju used his warm breath to chase the jellyfish away, while Riceball fixed ropes and patched the raft, keeping them safe. At last, they reached the glowing cave on the island. Inside lay the radiant stone. When they touched it, their inner wishes shone brightly. Fiju longed to soar high and free, while Riceball yearned for a lifelong true friend. The stone combined their wishes. Fiju gained strength to fly higher, and Riceball realized that his friendship with the little dragon was already the greatest gift. They returned home with joy, continuing their adventures side by side, wherever their hearts led them. Moral of the story: true adventure lies not only in treasures found, but in the courage and friendship discovered along the way. Story: The Scholar Dragon and the Shy Rabbit. Once upon a tale, there was a golden dragon named Sage who cared little for battles like other dragons. Instead, he loved reading ancient books, keeping them beneath a glowing tree in the valley. One day, a small rabbit named Whitey wandered into the valley. Frightened, she hid at first, but upon seeing the dragon calmly reading with tiny glasses, she grew curious and edged closer. Sage welcomed her kindly, reading aloud stories of stars and winds. Whitey listened in wonder, her fear melting away. She wished to read too, but her small paws could not hold the large books. Patiently, Sage taught her letter by letter. The next night, Whitey returned with friends, birds, a young deer, even an old turtle. They all gathered beneath the glowing tree to hear the dragon's tales. Soon, the valley echoed with laughter and learning. Villagers who once feared the dragon saw this and realized he was not a threat, but a teacher. From then on, Sage was cherished as the valley's wise mentor. Moral of the story: shared knowledge and patience can turn fear into friendship and understanding. Story: The Little Boy and the Firefly Forest. Once upon a tale, there was a boy named Claw who lived in a small village surrounded by a dark forest. Every night, villagers told frightening stories of the woods, so no one dared to enter. But Claw was curious. He often watched the fireflies drifting from the forest like tiny stars. One day, with a small backpack and a stick as his sword, he followed the glowing lights into the darkness. The forest was silent and cold. Strange sounds echoed, yet Claw pressed on. The fireflies gathered, forming a shining path that led him to a pond where a white deer was trapped in tangled vines. Bravely, Claw used his stick to loosen the vines bit by bit until the deer was free. The creature bowed in gratitude, and the fireflies guided Claw safely home. When he returned, the villagers were amazed. Claw told them the forest was not only filled with fear, but also beauty and friendship. From then on, they called the path the Firefly Way, a symbol of courage. Moral of the story: courage and kindness can reveal hidden beauty, even in the darkest of places.